in the thrift store, she had been smiling. Now her mouth was a tight line of pure terror. Chapter 2. The Bleed. The next morning, Sarah didn't want to look at the photo, but she couldn't help it. The family was gone. The forest was empty. All that remained in the Polaroid was the red balloon, now taking up the entire frame, its shiny surface reflecting a room Sarah recognized. It was reflecting her kitchen. She heard a soft pop from downstairs, then another pop, pop. She ran to the kitchen. Every cabinet was open. On the floor lay a pile of old, withered, rubber-deflated red balloons that smelled like stagnant pond water and ancient dust. But the most unsettling part was the smell of October. The kitchen didn't smell like coffee anymore. It smelled like dead leaves and damp earth, even though it was mid-July. She looked at her own reflection in the toaster. A red string was tied around her neck. She reached up to touch it, but there was nothing there. Only the reflection showed the cord, pulled tight, leading up toward the ceiling. Chapter 3. The Development. Sarah realizes the tea about the 1974 photo wasn't that the family had vanished. It was that the photo was a doorway that only opened one way. She grabbed the Polaroid to tear it up, but her fingers went right through the paper. It felt like sticking her hand into a cold, wet lung. The photo began to expand, the edges of the white border stretching until they hit the corners of her kitchen walls. The world turned grainy and sepia-toned. The colors of her life, her blue mug, her yellow curtains began to fade into a dull, chemical gray. She looked out her kitchen window. Her street was gone. In its place stood the dark pine forest from the 1974 photo. The family was there too, standing on her lawn. They weren't smiling.